Hello everybody, hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Gravili Kaimbe. If this is your first time on this channel, you are welcome. And for everyone that has been liking, commenting, subscribing and doing all the beautiful stuff, I see you. In this video I'm going to be discussing with you the differences between South African universities and Congolese universities. Someone would say, hey Gloria, you've never studied at the Congolese university. What do you know? I know someone who studied at the Congolese university, so I'm just going to weigh the differences. And if you're in this comment section and you feel like there is something that I missed, please do come and let me know. I am all ears. The first difference that I'd like to point out is that South Africa has, I think, about 20 something universities countrywide, whereas my beloved country has over 600.
So all in all, guys, DRC has about 66 universities.
After discovering this, I now got to understand why there is usually a lack of resources. Not sure about big countries such as Nigeria as well. I don't know, I'm not sure how many universities do they have, but we have about that amount of universities in my country. Isn't that crazy? Another difference between South African universities and Congolese universities is that with South African universities you can actually do the negotiations. When it comes to your tuition, you can actually do negotiations and be like, hey, listen, I'm going to pay half of my registration, and then you register and then it's going to be added onto your tuition for the year, but still you'll be allowed to study and all these things. But back home it's not like that. You gotta pay your money, you gotta pay your registration in full in order for you to be admitted. Should you not have those resources, my friend, you must just as well stay at home. There is no need for you to actually go and want to study because you will not be accepted. So once again, I would say South African universities are in most cases very lenient. I am not sure about I'm not sure about all the other universities, but from the two universities that I've, or two or three universities that I've actually come across, UNISA, CPUT and UWC, most of them allow students to actually study and then settle the fees throughout the year. And the next point is the lack of resources. After this, I actually got to understand why some socialites or rich people of the country usually save up their money to send their children abroad to go and study in Europe, to go and study in China, in India. Even in India, guys, some parents really send their children because they want their children to be exposed to a certain type of education, and in most cases it actually allows it broadens your mindset. You really get to think outside of the box, which is something that I also mentioned for myself, and which is something we also tend sometimes to overlook. Should you be a South African and choose to go and study in another country, your mindset and your understanding of things will not be exactly the same as over here. So that exposure is very important for some parents, and some parents do not allow their children to study because if there's not a lot of resources, and what type of education are you going to get? Another point that I'm going to mention, with the huge amount of universities that we have, sometimes these universities are not well taken care of in terms of classrooms. The classrooms are really not taken care of. Sometimes you could even be accepted into a course where the classes are extremely small, and you ask yourself, why did they accept so many of us in this course if if they are not able to accommodate all of us? So yes, sometimes accommodation or classrooms are quite small and people are not actually able to study properly. It made me realize just how grateful that I should be, that I had the privilege of being exposed to such resources. So yes, sometimes the classrooms are quite small. Apart from the resources, sometimes the classrooms are quite small, and it really takes so much of you to be able to really study and get the best, then be the best of the out of the best. And really say people that actually studied under such circumstances and really came out with cum laude and everything, people like my sister-in-law and so forth, they are really people to be applauded because it's not an easy journey. in South African universities, high chances of you actually getting a bursary from one organization to another. These organizations really come out and, you know, sponsor your education. People in South Africa has the NSFAS, but back home there are no such resources. It's mostly the rich that get a chance to go to university, or mothers. You get single mothers really working back and forth in order for them to pay for their children's school fees. So it is quite tough. So should you really go to university, study and finish, guys, it's a big deal, because I saw how my parents had to struggle over here. For us, our parents had to put effort here, but I know back home, should you really study and finish your university years, yeah, it's a very big deal, because there are very small minimal chances of you maybe getting a bursary or financial assistance from any organization. So should you get it, it's like hallelujah, it's a testimony. I'm telling you, to be old for 100 years, because it is not something that is really common, whereas in SA it is common that someone could get a bursary or a sponsorship of some sort. The things that I'm actually currently mentioning right now are things that I really wish even my Congolese political leaders could really watch, or those who are exposed to the diaspora. Somebody like myself, she don't want to go back home. These are things that I really want to implement, things that I really want to build, you know, build bigger classrooms, build, you know, give enough resources in libraries, enough materials, and say, okay, these are the materials that are already available to you, without you having to actually go the extra mile, without you having to pay extra money for these resources. These are things that I would really love to implement should I go back home. These are the things that I would like to change about the whole system and all the education system. And I remember the last time I mentioned mostly about primary school and high school, but this one I'm just going a bit more into the tertiary institution aspect. These are things that I really would love to change. You know, the certainty of knowing that, okay, if my child was to go and study at the university, at least after I've paid for the tuition, at least this one is guaranteed, and it is one less thing for me to worry about. The thing that makes South African universities different from Congolese universities, I think I mentioned this again on my previous video, is that South Africa, when you study from a South African university, it is already accredited worldwide. Yeah, it is accredited, you know, World Education System, or the World Education, I can't remember, West. It is already, you know, that you can use your South African university diploma or university degree to go and, you know, and use it in any other countries in the world. It is ever for us in Congo, so many people that I know that were lawyers, that were doctors, when they came to countries such as South Africa, they had to further their studies once again in order for them to, you know, to have a certain qualification that will allow them to work anywhere in the world. And I think this is something that many Nigerians have actually applied. They would go to Canada and study, go to UK and study, and so it is really something that we don't really get to think about in most cases. It is something that is very important, having a documentation that, or having a certificate that is recognized worldwide. It is very important, and that is something that we don't usually have in Congo. We don't really usually have that as an advantage. Let's not talk about the graduation system, guys. I don't think the graduation here in South Africa is such a big deal as much as it is back home. Like I told you guys, should you really go through the years of studying, 7 years of studying in university for you to get that that degree or that postgraduate degree, whatever? It's a big deal, and they really go all the way out. So you see here in South Africa, you have completed your exams, and okay, yeah, you're already going to graduate. There it's not the same, guys. It's a total different ball game. So over there, should you perhaps be finalizing your studies in engineering, they will give you a task. I don't know, they call it in French like défense or something like that. Give you a topic that you really have to elaborate and explain in front of a crowd. It could be a whole classroom full of 50 people, and you have to stand there on the board and explain how this term is like this and how you can apply it in society. It's like it's a whole task. So you actually spend a month, like just the same way you prepare for an exam, that's the same way you're going to prepare for that defense or defense or whatever. So you really have to defend your degree. And because of course once you're already at that point, it already shows that you really did well throughout your university years. I haven't heard of someone that actually did like defense and did not graduate, but most of the time you really have to defend what you studied in university. You have to be wearing your beautiful outfit and everything like that. It's a big deal, guys. It's a big deal. And of course money goes into it for this and that. You know, I remember for essay, the only thing that I had to pay for once I graduated was just for my gown. I just had to pay for my gown and show up there looking pretty, and that's it. And then they called my name, I went to the front, fetched my certificate, and I left. But there it's a different thing. So guys, these are a few things that I had to mention about the differences between the Congolese universities versus South African universities. If this is something that you're really interested in and you find quite good, please do not forget to click on that like button or even share with your friends and family, guys. So there are a lot of things that I would love to mention, but I don't want to make the video too long. So these are just a few things, and the purpose of making this video is just for you to understand, like, oh, okay, South Africa is still privileged in a whole lot of things. And I feel like we should really, as people, I would really encourage South Africans to really concentrate on those positive aspects, and for those who get a chance to really be in a position of power, to really see how they can really maintain those things in that particular order, which will keep making them different from all African countries, or most African countries in Africa. Yeah. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I love you all. I'll see you all next time. Bye.